So if you follow my YouTube videos, you'll know that I have two John Deere garden tractors. I have the 445 and the 425. These are great tractors. I love them to bits. They're such great hard-working machines. And I know that they are still pretty popular, even though they haven't been manufactured since 2001. But I'm not sure that everybody fully appreciates the differences between the 425 and the 445. So I thought maybe I'll do a quick video just to point out the basic differences, because I too have both machines. And of course, besides the 425 and the 445, in this series there's also a 455 which has the Yanmar diesel engine in it. But these two machines are essentially the same tractor, although they do have some couple of key differences about them. So looking at them, you can see that the 455, which is on, the 445, which is on the right, has a larger look about it. And often people do think it's a bigger tractor. It isn't, in fact. It is exactly the same chassis and body panels and that sort of thing. What is different is the size of the wheels. Those rear wheels on the 445 have a diameter of 26 inches. The tyres are 26-inch diameter tyres. The ones on the 425 have a diameter of 23 inches. And the ones on the front are 18 inches on the 445 and 16 inches on the 425. So that makes a difference. The rims are similar. They're 12-inch diameter rims on the back and 8-inch rims on the front, although they are slightly narrower on the 425. But I am told actually that the tires can be the larger 445 tires will fit on the 425, and I might well actually be doing that, because I have a set of the lawn tires that I took off of the 445 when I put the ag tires on last year, and so I might upgrade the wheel size on the 425 when I get around to it, that is. But anyway, so that's one of the major differences, one of two real differences between the two tractor models. The other difference is that one has a carburetor and the other one is fuel injected. The 425 has the FD620D Kawasaki V-twin liquid-cooled engine, as does the 445. It's a great engine. I believe they used to fit it in the Kawasaki mules, or maybe they still do, but you'll find it on a lot of garden equipment. But it is a wonderful wonderful engine. In the 425 with the carburetor, it's producing 20 horsepower. In the 445 with the fuel injection, it's producing 22 horsepower. So that's a key difference there. Because it's fuel injected, I tend to think it's a little simpler and easier to start. I'm not that I ever have problems with the 425, but just to show you how similar they are under the hood, there's the 445 with the fuel injection. The panel is the same. The one difference here is on this one you only have one throttle control, whereas over there in the 425 you also have a choke, of course, because of this carbureted. But under the hood it's essentially the same. Looks the same, the engine is the same. Engines are interchangeable. Both models have little niceties, if you like. The column is adjustable. They both have cruise control. In all the years I've had my 445, I don't think I've ever used it, but it is there. They both have the diff lock on the left pedal side, and they're essentially the same machines. I would say that the 425, when I'm using them, now, I use the 425 essentially for mowing the lawns, and I have the 54-inch deck, which I also have for the 445 as well, although these days I don't have it on there much. I have the little buckle loader on there, which I find myself using all the time, particularly with the ag tires. But when I'm using this 425, I can't say there's a lot of difference between the two in how they typically perform for things like mowing grass and that. I think the extra couple of horsepower is helpful when you're doing sort of grunt work like I do with this one, with the 445. There may be a little bit of a benefit to be had there. Surely an extra couple of horsepower should be worth having. On the 445 I also have a 3-point hitch. I purchased this 445 back in like 2001, I guess. It was about 18 months old. It's a 2000 model, so it's one that already had the steel cam gear in it. I went looking at my local John Deere dealer for my next tractor. I was around using an old International Harvester Cub Cadet, then one of the really old ones. It was a great tractor, but it was a little small and I really needed something big because I have a lot of lawns. And in those days I was just up here at the weekend, so needed to get it done quickly. And my John Deere dealer said, well, this is the machine you want, pointing to the 445. But I have to tell you, I was a little put off by the almost $11,000 price tag. That's how it came in with the deck on it at the time. So I started looking for used ones, and I found this on eBay down in Kentucky, at a dealership in Kentucky, a John Deere dealership. And when I think back, I don't know how I got it so low. I paid $4,750 for it, paid $500 to have it shipped up to the Northeast, New England, from Kentucky. And it served me well ever since. It had 150 hours at the time, so it was a great deal. And I'm always amazed when I look at the used prices on these. Dealers are still asking in the order of $4,000 for these. So yeah, I don't know how that was a great deal, and I've always been happy that I purchased it. But again, these days I'm using the little bucket loader on the front, although I do have, and what I used to use more often, I have a big grader blade that goes on the 3-point hitch, and I also have a big bucket scoop. They're both King Cutter equipment, and I've done quite a bit with those over the years until I got the little bucket loader. Now I have that, particularly with the Piranha tooth bar, I find myself basically just using this now, not worrying about hooking up the others. I also have a small subsoiler plow and that sort of thing, which is great for breaking ground and that sort of, and I use that on the hitch as well. And of course I tow with this one. I tow my on the property. I tow my dump trailer that also runs on the road as well, of course. And so this is a great tractor for those kinds of things. But this one is great too. I purchased this only a couple of years ago. I was actually looking for a snow blower, and they're expensive, and then I found some guy in New Jersey selling this with a snowblower and the big lawn collection system, the MC 519 I think it's called, with the power flow. I don't know if you can see that big old thing there that I use in the summer for catching leaves. It's great for grass catching and leaves and that sort of thing, and I paid $3,000 for the whole kit, which was amazing. So I snapped it up, and I'm happy because it gives me more opportunity to do just heavy work with this one, and still know that I've always got something ready to cut the grass with this. So both of them very similar, great tractors. If anyone's looking at either of them, I can recommend them. Parts are easy to get hold of. I would always recommend, though, if you're doing work on the engine, get Kawasaki parts rather than the ones that are also Kawasaki but with a John Deere brand on the packaging, because John Deere seems to be more expensive than Kawasaki. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I've done lots of different things with them over the time, and you might find the other videos interesting as well. Again, great machines. I'm always happy to answer questions when people have any queries on these. I'm always happy to help other owners. But I love them. They've served me well, and I hope to get more years out of these than I intend to spend mowing grass and digging and grading and that sort of thing on my property. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like on YouTube, and feel free to subscribe. It's free, and you get to see all my other videos, and when I post something new, you get to hear about it as soon as I post it. Okay, thanks for looking, and have a good day.